What's up, everyone, and welcome to the MMA camp. Today, we're talking about Michael Chandler, who firmly believes he can defeat Charles Oliveira 9 times out of 10. Despite being 0-2 against Oliveira, Chandler remains confident that he could win most of the time if they fought again. He understands his record but insists he's capable of much more. During a recent appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, Chandler reflected on his latest loss to Oliveira, admitting he wasn't happy with his performance. He gave himself a harsh self-assessment, rating the fight a 2 out of 10 and said, "I know what I'm capable of." Chandler is determined to get better, saying, "I believe I beat Charles Oliveira 9 times out of 10. He's aware that some fans might roll their eyes at his bold claim, but he remains focused on improving and proving his worth. Despite his record, Chandler is confident that with a healthier, more prepared version of himself, he could have a much different outcome next time. "I'm not happy with my performance. I would give myself a 2 out of 10. I cannot overstate how horrible my performance was or how poor the circumstances were after the first round, compared to what my vision was for what I'm capable of. I believe I beat Charles Oliveira 9 times out of 10. Obviously, I've lost to him twice. 2 out of 2. I have a 100% loss rate to Charles Oliveira. I understand why people might tisk at that or roll their eyes, but I'm so unhappy with the performance. I'm so excited to get healthy and give the fans and supporters the performance they deserve." Chandler also addressed critics who called him out for hitting Oliveira in the back of the head during their fight. He reiterated that he believes the strikes were landing on the ear, not behind the head. After watching the fight back, Chandler expressed frustration with the commentary team's perspective, stating that the unified rules of MMA clearly define the area, and most of his punches were aimed at Oliveira's ear. He acknowledged that people could scrutinize the footage, but maintained that his shots were legal. "I'm not going to say I didn't do anything wrong, okay? I'm not going to say that people couldn't look at it, splice it, and analyze it with a fine-tooth comb and magnifying glass. But the unified rules of mixed martial arts state that there's a line drawn from the crown of the head down to the neck with a 1-inch variance on either side. So you're talking about a 2-inch area on the back of someone's head that's considered illegal. If you watch, 90% of the shots, at least most of them, almost all of them, were aimed at the ear. My fist was catching the ear." Despite his explanations, many fans in the comments section remain skeptical, with many not buying what Chandler is selling. Even after providing his side of the story, some fans continue to question the legality of the strikes, pointing to the location of the shots. While Chandler stands by his belief that the punches landed on Oliveira's ear, the backlash from fans indicates that they're not fully convinced, and the debate over the incident is likely to continue as long as the footage remains in circulation. On Islam Makhachev's fight, while nothing has been officially confirmed yet, Islam Makhachev's manager is confident that the champion will face Arman Tsarukyan on January 18th at UFC 311, which is set to take place at the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles. In a recent Russian-speaking interview with Ushataika, Makhachev's manager gave an update, stating that they are assuming the fight will happen, even though no contracts have been signed yet. Despite this, the manager remains optimistic that the bout will take place as planned. Additionally, he confirmed that Khabib Nurmagomedov, Makhachev's longtime coach and mentor, will be in the champion's corner on fight night. This fight will mark Makhachev's 4th title defense as he looks to solidify his place in UFC history. Fans are eager to see if Makhachev can continue his dominant run and maintain his status as one of the top lightweights in the world. No, the contracts have not been signed. We personally have not signed or received anything yet, but we're preparing for January 18th. Back in September, we were given this date, we accepted it, and there was no specific confirmation about the opponent yet. We assumed that it will be Arman Tsarukyan. If Islam Makhachev secures the win, he will cement his place in UFC history by setting the record for the most lightweight title defenses. Currently, he's tied with Khabib Nurmagomedov, Frankie Edgar, and Smooth Benson Henderson, all of whom have 3 successful lightweight title defenses. It's important to note that one of Frankie Edgar's title defenses ended in a split draw, which allowed him to retain his belt, similar to how Tyron Woodley did against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. In related news, Khabib Nurmagomedov continues to stay active outside of MMA by promoting cryptocurrency projects. The former champion has expanded his ventures beyond the octagon, focusing on new business opportunities while maintaining a strong presence in the combat sports world. Khabib promotes CryptoCoin while insulting Conor McGregor. Khabib Nurmagomedov has taken another jab at Conor McGregor after sharing news on his Instagram story about a jury ruling against McGregor in a civil suit. The former UFC lightweight champion seems to have relished the opportunity to throw some shade at his longtime rival, adding fuel to their ongoing feud. Khabib's latest move includes lending his support to to a cryptocurrency project called Convict, which is dedicated to donating money to victims of McGregor's actions. The crypto project, titled Convict, claims to have been inspired by the €250,000 verdict against McGregor, which stemmed from a legal dispute. The project's account quickly caught Khabib's attention, prompting him to share his thoughts on the initiative. Khabib, who has had a long-running rivalry with McGregor, commented in support of the project, saying that McGregor deserves punishment for his actions. This move only adds more tension to the already strained relationship between the two fighters. Good job, guys. You have my full support. This guy deserves punishment. Khabib isn't the only fighter to address Conor McGregor's latest legal troubles. During an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show on Wednesday, Michael Chandler took the opportunity to share his thoughts on the situation. Chandler, who has faced McGregor in the past, speculated on the potential implications of McGregor's legal issues on his career, particularly his return to the octagon. Chandler questioned whether McGregor's comeback might be delayed even further, considering the legal battles and personal challenges he's currently facing. While Chandler admitted that he wasn't fully aware of the legal ramifications, he did suggest that after something like this, McGregor would likely be focusing on his recovery and getting back into training. Chandler expressed his belief that McGregor's best move would be to continue pursuing his goal of returning to the cage, though the ongoing legal drama could undoubtedly complicate his timeline for a return. I don't know the legal ramifications. I do know that after something like this, if I were in that position, the last thing I would want to do is stop training and moving toward a common goal. I'm sure he wants to get back into training, at least that's what his statement suggested. He said he's going to be with his family and then get back in the gym. It's a tough position, a horrible position all around, obviously for him and for everyone involved. It's a tough spot. I don't have much else to say about it, but I do think the best thing he can do is get back to focusing on his goals. The latest update on McGregor's return came from Dana White, who suggested that the former champ might not fight again until late 2025. White pointed to McGregor's ongoing legal issues and recovery process as factors contributing to the delay, leaving fans uncertain about his timeline for a comeback. Merab Dvalishvili and Umar Nurmagomedov go back and forth. Merab Dvalishvili and Umar Nurmagomedov are once again exchanging verbal jabs, even though there's no official word on if or when they'll meet in the octagon. In a recent video, The Machine Merab shared his thoughts on the bantamweight title picture and made some sharp comments about the undefeated Umar. Known as Professor Dvalish, Merab broke down the bantamweight division, offering his take on various contenders and even playing matchmaker. When it came to Umar, Merab didn't hold back, stating that Nurmagomedov still has a lot of work to do if he wants to earn a title shot.
Hello everyone, Professor Dvalishvili is back to teach you another important lesson. So we have Merab. Wow, what a handsome guy, the current champion. He has 11 fight win streak and has beat 4 ranked and still active former UFC champions. Jose Aldo, Peter Yan, Henry Cejudo, and Sean O'Malley. Then we have former champion Peter Yan, who has beat top ranked opponents. Davison Figueiredo, Song Gidong, I can even give him Sean O'Malley.
Whatever, dude.
Ori Sanhagan, and King of Rio, Jose Aldo. Last and certainly least, we have Umar. And he has beat who? And who? No one but gifted Sanhagan.
Bruh.
Also, reminder guys, I was backup fighter for O'Malley versus Vera, and when UFC asked Umar to be backup fighter for me and O'Malley, he said no. I mean, this guy wants title shot served to his bed like a breakfast. Biggest lesson here, Umar, get to work, you're not my level. Earn your title shot like rest of us, whose last names don't get gifts. Class dismissed.
Merab emphasized that Umar needs to step up his game before he can compete at the same level. This back and forth adds more fuel to the fire, and fans are eagerly awaiting any potential showdown between these two bantamweight talents as they continue to climb up the rankings. Umar fired back at Merab, quoting Islam Makhachev with a line Dana White famously posted at the UFC Apex. What does this title represent? It means you're the best in the world, and if you're the best, it doesn't matter who's across from you. What do I say? No, never. Let's do this. Before this back and forth, Merab had proposed a rematch with Peter Yan following Yan's recent victory over Davison Figueiredo. However, this suggestion didn't sit well with fans, who voiced their concerns online. Even Sean O'Malley joined the conversation, accusing Merab of being afraid to face Umar Nurmagomedov and calling him out for avoiding a fight with the undefeated bantamweight contender. Khamzat Chimaev and Arman Tsarukyan grappling. Khamzat Chimaev and Arman Tsarukyan may compete in different weight classes, but that didn't stop them from getting in some grappling action on Season 3 of Hype Reality, the Russian equivalent of the Ultimate Fighter. Both fighters are coaching on the show, and although they won't fight each other at the end of the season like TUF coaches often do, a short video shared on social media shows them grappling together. In the clip, Chimaev seizes Tsarukyan's neck before smoothly transitioning into a Darce choke as the video ends. The impressive display of grappling skills had fans talking, especially since the two competitors are known for their high-level wrestling and jiu-jitsu. As of now, there is no official word on when Tsarukyan and Chimaev will return to the octagon. The latest expectation is that Tsarukyan will take on Islam Makhachev in a highly anticipated rematch on January 18th. As for Chimaev, it's likely he will be waiting for the outcome of the middleweight title fight between Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis before getting his shot at UFC gold. Both fighters are eagerly expected to make big waves in the UFC's future. UFC Updates. As the new year approaches, the UFC is busy filling its 2025 event cards with exciting matchups. Here are some of the latest updates for upcoming events. March 1st, a middleweight showdown between Cody Brundage and Ryan Loder has been confirmed. Brundage will be looking to bounce back after a no-contest result in July, while Loder will aim to extend his winning streak following a successful UFC debut in August. March 27th, UFC London. Shauna Bannon is set to face Pooja Tamar in a highly anticipated women's bantamweight bout. Bannon is hoping to secure her second consecutive UFC win, while Tomar will be looking to build on her impressive split decision victory in her debut. February 22nd, Fight Night. The UFC has confirmed that the event will take place in Seattle, Washington, marking the promotion's first return to the city since 2013, when Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson submitted John Moraga. Although the headliner has not been announced, the card already features exciting matchups such as Edson Barboza versus Steve Garcia, Brendan Allen versus Anthony Hernandez. As the UFC continues to finalize its 2025 schedule, fans can expect even more thrilling announcements in the coming weeks. Stay tuned for further updates. Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo advise Bo Nickal. Bo Nickal earned the biggest win of his MMA career with a dominant victory over Paul Craig at UFC 309. However, post-fight analysis from figures like Daniel Cormier and Dana White pointed out that Nickal still has room for improvement before taking the next big step in his career. On the latest episode of Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo's Pound for Pound podcast, the two former champions shared valuable advice with Nickal during his guest appearance. Usman focused on the importance of understanding MMA's entertainment aspect, advising Nickal to recognize how critical fan engagement and the business side of the sport can be. Meanwhile, Cejudo offered technical tips on improving Nickal's takedown setups, suggesting a better combination of strikes to set up his wrestling. Nickal appreciated the guidance, acknowledging the experience Usman and Cejudo bring, and expressed his eagerness to continue improving as he moves up the ranks in the UFC's middleweight division.
Yes, of course, you want to be the best, and you are going to, and you have those aspirations for yourself, but also understand that this is a sport of entertainment. And in that, when it becomes that, then now you become a businessman. The fans, they're gonna love you 1 minute, but then the next minute you suck, or the next minute you're overrated.
You do like that high-low very well. I feel like you really got to change up that combination, man. I feel like sometimes you got to level change, maybe half jab kick. And what Kamaru was saying is, use a mouthpiece, man. These MMA fans, they will eat you and you out, dude. And you cannot allow them to do that. Your real fans are your family and friends, bro. See, that's just the reality, man.
Thank you guys so much. I'm not even joking. That advice, it means the world to me. It means the world to hear that from you guys, both you, Henry, and you, Kamaru. You guys have been there. You guys have done what I want to do. And that knowledge and experience that you have is so valuable.
Bo Nickal also discussed his next steps, naming potential opponents from the middleweight division's top 15. He mentioned fighters like Michel Pereira, Anthony Hernandez, and even unranked Kevin Holland as possible matchups, highlighting his ambition to challenge top contenders as he climbs the rankings. They're all guys I could have trouble with, but at the same time, I believe in my skill set. As I continue to train, work more on striking, and refine my jiu-jitsu, I think I can dominate a lot of those guys and make it look easy. After emerging from his fight with Paul Craig relatively unscathed, Bo Nickal is unlikely to be sidelined for long. With his focus on climbing the middleweight rankings, fans are eagerly awaiting updates on his next opponent as he looks to continue his ascent in the division. MMA community goes off on Dana White for UFC prices. The MMA community is expressing frustration over the increasing cost of following UFC events in 2024. A viral tweet highlighted the hefty price tag for UFC content, with fans facing an annual total of $1,383. This includes $1,119 for pay-per-view pay-per-view events, $143 for an ESPN Plus subscription, and $120 for Fight Pass. Fans are upset about the escalating costs, with some pointing out how much they're paying without seeing fighters receive adequate compensation. Some have even turned to alternative ways to watch the events, such as local bars or streaming for free. As UFC prices continue to rise, many worry that the cost of being a fan will only get higher in 2025. I wouldn't mind if I knew most of this money was going towards the fighters. Wait, y'all pay for this? I go to a movie theater near me. They do the pay-per-views for $20. Fight nights, bars and restaurants. Good thing I watch every fight for free, LOL. Who's paying for fights in 2024 unless it's for a fight night party? Add in live events and that's another $5,000 to $8,000 between flights, tickets, and hotels. MSG alone costs an arm, both legs, and an ear. I feel bad for American fans. I get all this for $8 a month. How do they charge so much and still underpay the fighters? Many fans have also noted that the high costs could explain why more MMA fighters are crossing over into boxing for bigger paydays. With UFC prices continuing to rise, some believe the financial incentive for fighters to switch sports will only grow. As 2024 comes to a close, there's concern that UFC costs may continue to climb in 2025, further alienating fans. However, rumors of a potential partnership between the UFC and Netflix have sparked hope. If this deal goes through, it could potentially lower the cost of access to events, making UFC content more affordable for fans. Despite these concerns, fans continue to voice their frustrations over the growing financial barrier to following the sport they love.